Could you talk about any hidden benefits or brand building opportunities when a product is fulfilled by Amazon?
Yeah, because so in simple terms, we leverage Amazon as a first channel of a brand incubation strategy because I can go borrow their customer base who are already hyper interested in buying and want to spend and do spend over $1,400 a year on Amazon. With that, I can leverage a brand into that system that gives me the ability to go into an existing audience conversation who is in demand. We call it the psychology of the buyer, right? Who wants that product. It's already in demand. I want to get that product in there as quickly as possible. I can use their warehouse and logistics to do a lot of the heavy lifting, so I don't have to warehouse it myself and do all that nonsense. And I can just focus down on what is it that I want to sell to the engine, what do I want the engine to believe, what do I want the new AI systems that came online earlier this year, like Rufus and Cosmo. What do I want them to know about me as they're positioning information and data about my brand and creating an avatar of my brand inside of their model that they're going to use to turn around and remarket back out to the system, including ranking of the product in the system now. So I really want that to be trained. We call it primed correctly. I want to prime the engine correctly with that information so that I can gain maximum traction in that marketplace because I can, in America, it's like 49% of all online sales. So for that reason, I'm going to go there and prove that I can incubate a product and a brand that no one's ever heard of under the Amazon brand of trust and delivery and last mile and returns and customer support and all the things we've come to, you and I and others have come to appreciate about that system, knowing the product's going to show up or how we deal with it all the way down to leaving a negative review if we don't like it, right? And they're good at retargeting us now and understanding what other products we want. And that's changing very dramatically with AI too. So that system allows us the freedom of automation within it to focus on the marketing and branding development of that product base so that we can reach that customer avatar more. We can capture that demand and innovate that demand into our favor for the type of products that we're going to change up or launch. And then from there, have a really good understanding of the type of audience and conversation that has been going on with branded products like ours, so that when we reverse that out to the user-generated copy, the advertising, the direct response channels, TikTok Lives or anywhere else this product goes, even into retail, we're going to have a good conversation and understanding of what that brand represents, having incubated it off of that platform first.
And what's the timeline for that typically?
We typically have a 12-month window by which we are building a brand to market, but a brand is beget by multiple products, meaning that most people think it's an inverse relationship with the way that we sell a brand. And actually, you develop the product first to validate the market around a brand concept, and then you evolve the brand so that it leads the products. Therefore, you can change up the products or promote additional products, but the brand ultimately leads the narrative, the emotional connectivity, and the value statement forward as we launch additional products into it. That takes us from 0 to 100K in revenues relatively fast. We've got repeatable case studies of doing that within 30 to 60 days. And then from there, defining where we deploy more capital, more marketing, to turn that 100,000 in revenues into 100,000 a month in MRR, monthly recurring revenue. And then from there, replicate those product baselines out so that, that's is an example that some people understand would be that, there's 20 different burger joints and 20 pizza joints, right? Those are all brands. At the end, they sell burgers and pizza. But why do you choose one or another? Because there's product variations within there that you like. Yeah. And our job is to, in this way, borrow that from retail, the same way we borrow it from Apple's iMac, iPad, whatever. And we replicate down until we're very hyper hedgehogged, if you will, from good to great into a brand seller account and products and brand that just sell that. If we sell dog beds, that's all we sell there, dog beds. And we sell the most amount of dog beds we can gain to get the most amount of market share in that area until we just keep taking over the market share with that area. And just, they say success is boring. So that's why I like to create more brands and work with more people on new brands, because once these things are up and running, so much of it becomes automated in time, in market and growth that, you get a little bored with it, because it's just going to take time. And so you need new challenges. You open new marketplaces, you go to different channels, and you challenge yourself to open up new areas of business.
Could you talk about some of the potential downsides now of putting all your fulfillment eggs in one basket, in this case, fulfilled by Amazon?
Amazon is a sales channel. Okay. To be very clear, if anybody heard me, it's not a business, it's a sales channel. And if you're doing really well in that sales channel in your business, then your next step is to open another channel. Okay. It is to validate market and channel. It is using the FBA system for what it is, which is a third-party logistics company. That's what it is. It's what they were before they got bought and rebranded into FBA. Okay. And it's the 6th largest logistics company in the world. Now, they have their problems because they're large. And they got planes, trains, and automobiles now, and even ships. So they do the whole thing, right? So if I'm going to use an omnichannel strategy that allows me to focus on the growth, not just the operations, and keeps my economies of scale low, then I'm going to use the FBA and AWD systems to move product that sells from TikTok, to move product that sells from Shopify, to move product that may sell in retail and other locations. And I use that like a logistics company, right? They have their problems, they have their challenges. So do third-party logistics companies. As mentioned, I have those in our wheelhouse to use as well. So we can create continuity should there be challenges with FBA and AWD. So we can move product out of those other warehouses if needed, right? And so the end story is always about redundancy.
Yeah, but not too much redundancy.
But enough that you can contain supply chain and growth, that you can maintain movement of product and velocity of product turnover, and that you can open additional channels without totally having to reinvent the wheel. Like, well, I want to start selling in Shopify. Well, now I need to go get a third-party logistics. I got to hire customer support people. I've got to deal with last mile, UPS, and all that other nonsense. And that becomes a big struggle, including all the technicalities of running that kind of store. I kind of analogize Amazon like the iPhone and Shopify like the Google Android people. One is kind of built into the cake. It sort of does what you want to do on the iPhone side. While it doesn't have all the features and functions that the Android does in many ways, they're way behind on some of that innovation. You can tweak the crap out of an Android. You can update it. You can reboot its ROM. You can do all kinds of stuff and play and tweak and geek out on it. And that's how you operate a Shopify store. In my experience, having run one to more than 100,000 a month, is a lot of mechanics in the moving. It's a lot of tweaking. It's a lot of conversions and CRO, customer optimization. And so the affect of that means more management and more tweaking and more dialing in, where Amazon is it's already done kind of thing. It's a split tested funnel. They do all the split testing. It has its pros and cons. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a fanboy of either of those. At the end of the day, I just want them to work. And Amazon has done some dumb things. It's been more costly. We don't sell products less than $50 and don't recommend anybody does. We say friends don't let friends sell $20 products because Amazon will eat your lunch. You just can't make them profitable anymore, right? You can make the volume, but you can't make the profits. And a lot of people are getting misled into that, honestly. You got to sell 50 or higher on Amazon, or you simply won't get the profits to run the business at the end of the day. Which begets the cost of supply chain logistics and everything else we just discussed, loading up onto that product and not making you 50 cents before taxes.
What are some creative ways entrepreneurs are differentiating their brand on Amazon's platform?
Well, Amazon, it's capable of doing the PPC marketing engine. It's capable of doing what's called sponsored ads, sponsored brands. Is able to run videos. It's able to run top of header, top of search marketing placements, in listing placements, and other ways where you can start to market your brand inside of that ecosystem. Much like ad placements from, AdWords would be on a Fox website, right? It's kind of no different than that. You can take over that market share inside of other listings. You can take top of search for, target keywords, and you can really get your brand all over the place inside of it now. Marketing emails, if you do enough volume, they'll send it out to their list of Prime members, and you can show up in their emails with your brand. They're being more brand centric in terms of stuff they put in Seller Central. We have brand managers now for certain accounts that help us, create brand assets and stuff, including what's called A+ content and A+ premium content that we use to create very detailed and beautiful listings on Amazon, which you've probably seen if you've ever searched on it. So we get much more information about our brand in front of the customer. So Amazon is becoming very brand centric. And in that way, it's shutting down a lot of the other seller mechanisms that have been in place: wholesale, retail arbitrage, shop your way to wealth, and this kind of stuff. They've on rumor, because I don't know exactly how many it is, I've heard upwards of 200,000 accounts got shut down last year. They were doing all of that. They didn't meet a certain threshold of sales, so they cut them off, or they were just flipping products and jumping on listings. So they have gated people or stopped them from being able to do that. So the side hustle hobby business of Amazon sort of died about 2 years ago, but most people haven't caught up because, well, there's people selling courses out there on how to do it. So they haven't caught up on the fact that the platform is doing everything possible to stop you from doing those kinds of seller mechanisms. With brand and private label, they're doing everything possible to make that come forward now.